Hello out there, all my Protoss brothers and sisters. Mostly brothers, because we all know girls don't play this game. But I have a new video for you. It's me against Ow My Groin, who is actually a GrandMaster. He was somewhere around rank 50 when I played him. So we know he is not a newbie scrub. He is quite good. And this is a game where I use some normal tactics. Fast expanding, I always do that against Zerg on larger maps because, well, if you don't and he fast expands and you don't 4-gate him or something, he is in a huge lead, and that's obviously intolerable. We don't want the Zerg to have the lead, ever. We want to always be kicking the crap out of him. So, I thought this was a cool game, and I thought I would share it with you guys. But, to start off, this is Test Bug. I don't know if any of you know about this map. It's been used in a little more tournaments lately. MLG used it. I actually quite like the map. It's pretty weird. It's a 3-player map, not a 4-player map. But I will scout the Zerg first, and I'll see he's going for a hatch first, which means I can do one of two things. I can try to cannon rush him, or I can fast expand myself. In this case, I opt to fast expand myself, because I did cannon rush him the last time we played, and it didn't work out so well. Oh, I also cannon rushed him the game before that, and I did win that one, so yeah, it's not guaranteed. It's very risky. But we'll just block his expansion here with a probe, juke around, keep him from putting down that hatch. Keep him as long as you can without that hatch. And he'll send a second drone down. That's great. Means he's not mining. I'm actually going to delay my Nexus to get my own pylon up there. This will buy a lot of time. It'll keep his hatch from going down for a long time. He's actually pulling a ton of drones off the line to kill this pylon so he can get his hatch down. He obviously does not want to wait for the pool to finish. That would take a long time. And so I'm just going to cancel that right before it finishes, so I don't have to worry about it while getting my own Nexus down and a forge. That'll allow me to get some cannons up, so I won't have to worry too much about any aggression from him. I know I can't really be attacked too soon because he did go for the hatch first build. I know his pool is coming because, well, obviously he's going to throw a pool down soon. He's not going to wait until the hatch goes down to throw the pool down. So we know it's coming. But we'll continue on our merry way, building a gateway at around 17 supply. Right after the gateway, we'll need gas, so we can get warp gate research as soon as possible. When you're going for a Nexus first build, it's very important to get warp gates as soon as you can, because if he all-ins you or something, you want to have your warp gates up so you can warp in stalkers to fend it off. You don't want to have to deal with a Zerg killing you when you have no units. It's never fun. But we can see my expansion is almost done, so I will transfer some drones over to my expansion. My defenses are coming along nicely. He'll get a drone up. Cannon finishes just in time to snipe that drone and kill these Zerglings. One will get through. He did take a hit though, so he's pretty weak. So he can't really be too much of a threat with one Zergling. And we'll put down my core right about here. That'll give me a nice little wall in right here in case he goes for a Zergling all-in or something. Zergling run-bys will have to come through this narrow little choke point where their numbers count for nothing. Yes, that was a 300 reference. Awesome movie. But yeah, check the production tab out. You can see he's going for a queen, some drones, overlords. He's not really going for any kind of crazy all-in yet. But here comes the Roach Warren. If you check out how many drones he has, he did cut at 22 drones. This is a very scary particular type of rush, where you just cut drone production at 22, then make a crap ton of roaches and attack. I, of course, don't know about this yet, so we'll see what happens. I do have my Cyber Core up, which is pretty cool. And we'll chrono boost out warp gates. Eventually, we're going to have to throw down some warp gates up here, but you don't have to worry about throwing down the warp gates until this is like 75%, like 50% done, because then this will finish at around the same time as your warp gates. And I'm going to send this zealot out to go scouting. We'll suicide him in here, see what kind of drone saturation he has, if he has any roaches, things like that. We're just looking for things like that, nothing too tactical about it. But if we go back to my view, we can see the zealot wandering in. Meandering slowly right on in, and we see roaches like an abnormal amount of roaches. Usually there wouldn't be that many roaches this early in the game, unless he is planning on attacking me. So my response to that is get gateways immediately. I need those warp gates up as soon as possible. Get photon cannons immediately. These gateways are actually late. They should have gone down earlier. I'm probably going to pay for that because, well, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to stop this roach rush. It's coming in, and I can't stop it. I only have 2 cannons. And my 1 stalker. That's a lot of roaches. So he is just marching right on through. Roaches do a lot of damage. I'm going to start losing probes. Have to pull all the workers. I don't want to just give him free worker kills. While he's doing this, you can see he started making a lot of workers himself. So he's starting to catch up. But now my warp gates are up. Chrono boosting them out. I'll get some stalkers out. Try to save this nexus. Fortunately, we can kill all of the roaches. They're not going to get out of here because if they try to get through this narrow little passageway again, the cannons will tear them apart. But he did take down my nexus, so that's a victory for him. And he is definitely up on supply, but we have to kill these roaches now. We can't let them get out. And we'll manage to take them down without losing any stalkers, which is at least somewhat good. If we speed that up a little bit, kill it. Try to get that nexus down. Having trouble with my stalkers being in the way. We'll finally get the nexus down. And I opt to throw down 2 more gateways as well. Going for a 6 gate. Very late. But I know because he did that roach rush, his economy was hurting. It's probably not the greatest. He's probably droning up at this point. I figure if I can hit a timing window where he's droning and not making an army, I can do some serious damage to him and probably bring myself back into this game. You can see him out here with a couple of Zerglings. He is droning at this point. If we check out the production tab, you can see he's teching, droning, expanding. He's not making an army because they're only make an army when they're planning on attacking or when they're planning on defending. He thinks he hurt me pretty bad. He doesn't realize I'm not as dead as he thinks I am. I didn't lose any probes. I just transfer them all into here so they can get mining again when the nexus goes back up. Because I didn't lose any probes, my economy wasn't that hurt. I mean, granted, it's not great, not optimal, but I can definitely live with it. So my army is relatively decent sized here, and we're going to move out. Bring 1 sentry so I can throw down a proxy pylon. And we'll attack. This attack has to do some damage because I'm pretty behind at this point in all respects. I just need to do damage. And there goes the pylon. His army is no match for me at this point. But I don't really want to waste time fighting up here. I need to fight down here so he can't have time to build those roaches he wants. And once he retreats up that ramp, we can easily just force field that and prevent him from doing anything. You can see he's counter-attacking here. I have some zealots trying to chase through here. Of course, I don't really micro them as well as I should. But I am killing an expansion of his. But I'm losing a lot of probes at the same time. I have a couple of zealots in here trying to hold their own. They are overrun, and they continue to kill probes. Not good. I am killing his expansion, though. So, that is good. This is not good. Well, there we go. Now I'm cleaning them up. I lose a couple of probes, but his expansion is going down. I have way too many force fields on there, but oh well. He does finish burrow movement, so he can get under there right now. But I don't know about that yet. I did see roach reinforcements coming in from over here. I know he might have an expansion up there, so I'm just going to go take a look. I did manage to take out his expansion hatch like he took out my expansion nexus. And I'm finally moving probes back in. His roach army is no match for my stalker army, but he does have burrow movement, which regenerates really fast. Right now I could probably take his army in a straight up fight, but he's not going to let me do that, of course. He's going to try to ambush me here from 2 or more sides. But I'll keep going, try to kill this expansion here. Fortunately, I have a lot of sentries. Even though they're not great against burrowed roaches, they're just a lot of units that'll buy me some time. I just need to kill this hatchery. If I can kill both of his hatcheries, I am definitely in this game again after losing so much early on. And there we go. Both hatcheries are down. Guardian Shield really doesn't do much to help you here. I mean, you can kill the roaches all you want, but when he burrows them, they regenerate like their health ridiculously fast. It's a little silly how fast they regen. But we'll just try to get out of there instead of fighting with this. Managed to save most of my stalkers. I lose all the sentries, but they did do their job pretty well. They kicked the crap out of his bases. That puts his economy well below mine, even though he has more harvesters. Because he's only on one base, obviously. Look at units lost. He has definitely lost more units, which is pretty cool. But he has a huge roach army at my front door. Fortunately for me, I have a lot of cannons here. Left over from that early roach attack, he didn't kill these cannons. But again, the burrow regenerates all of the damage I do. It's so annoying. I'm going to need to get some immortals out. I have my robotics here. I'm going to have to get a Colossus eventually, because he's probably going to transition the Hydras out of this. That's what most Zerg do. Next time, snipes my forge. Very annoying. He just blends back. He's trying to keep me contained at this point. He doesn't want me expanding. He doesn't want me putting pressure on his bases. He wants time to basically expand everywhere and drone up again. I'm probably not going to give him that time, but I have to manage to find a way to kill him. He just runs all of his roaches in here. Very scary number of roaches. Eating through my stalkers like nothing. We'll have to fall back, fight around the Nexus. He is killing a bunch of probes. I should be retreating them. I'm not sure why I didn't. It wasn't a good idea. But now he is trapped back there. Reinforcements have arrived. An Immortal has arrived. I'll be able to gun down these roaches. That's the majority of his army. He really couldn't afford to lose his army at that point, because the Zerg can do one of two things at any given time. He can either drone up or he can build an army. If we check the income tab, he doesn't really have enough drones to stop droning up right now. He wants to be around 70 drones. He doesn't want to be around 40. So the Zergs that are dangerous, that remax their armies instantly, are the ones that are like 70 drones. This guy is much lower than that right now because I did knock him out with some pressure. And I see him moving all of his stuff back through there. Trying to put some pressure on the front here. And here come the roaches. Snipe off my Immortal instantly. And he's even transfusing them. Get the hell out of there, stalkers. Run away. And he pulls back. Now, instead of going home, though, I do know he has an expansion up over here. I know my stalkers are pretty fast. I think we'll go kill that expansion. It seems like a reasonable thing for my stalkers to do. While he's doing that, he's going to counterattack me here. I do have some stalkers at home. I have a Colossus almost there. I'm teching to it. But I have cannons. I have stalkers. I will be able to do some decent job holding that. But I just need to trim down his expansions. It's still only 2 base against 2 base. Or 2 base against 3 base. If I can make it 2 base against 2 base, that is very much in the Protoss' favor. These cannons are doing a great job trying to help me hold off this serious roach aggression. They're going to be taken down, but they're going to buy me enough time for my army to return to fight these guys off. I still have some stalkers up on the ridge, reinforcements coming in, and my army is moving back. So I have a bunch of stalkers now, trying to tech Colossus at this point. I have killed this expansion twice now. He is still mining from it, but now I can expand myself pretty safely because I fended off his army. Again, he's going to want to be re-expanding and droning. He's not going to want to be building an army again, so he's not going to be able to pressure me unless he cuts drone production. Then he's pretty all in. But he will keep mining like a good Zerg, regenerating while I take my third. He'll probably re-expand to here at some point. The danger of actually fast expanding like I did is normally you run out of minerals at your main and your natural at the same time. Because he killed my natural, I'm not going to run out of minerals for a while, which actually buys me some time, which is good in this case. But stalkers and sentries are actually pretty good against Hydra Roach in relatively small numbers if your force fields are pretty good. So I will scare him away. He might be able to take my army, but it will be an army trade. And at this point, because he's not sure if my army is bigger than his or not, he really doesn't want to trade. He wants to sit back, he wants to max up, he wants to macro, he wants to power. That's what the Zerg do. They don't like to trade armies unless they know they can afford to lose an army. I don't like to trade armies either, but he really doesn't know what position I'm in exactly. He knows I have a big army, and he doesn't know if I can reinforce it or not. I'm finally getting those Colossus out. They'll make a huge difference when he starts getting mass numbers of Hydralisks. When it's just the roaches, like mostly roaches, you can take them with stalkers, with good micro. When it's Hydras and roaches, there's nothing that you can do to stop that unless you have Colossus. I'm not really a fan of the way Protoss is designed in that regard, but it is what it is. You need the Colossus, and there it is. And we're just going to fight around here, try to force him to chill back. We need to buy some time for our weapons to finish. I'm not going to follow him out in the open. That's what he wants. I want to fight like at a location like here, a somewhat narrow choke point where 1 or 2 force fields can actually make a huge difference. He wants to fight out here, obviously, so when I attack, he pulls back out here. When he gets to here, he would attack me back, but I'm not going to let that get to that point. We'll just keep chrono boosting out our upgrades and more Colossus while we're getting our third base saturated and mining from. Throwing a couple of cannons out there. I know I'm cut off from there right now, so if he wanted to just send like 5 or 6 roaches over there, that would do a lot of damage. Fortunately, I can throw down a bunch of cannons, and he can't just send a small portion of his army. He has to send a huge portion of his army, and at that point, I'll just be able to break out of his containment. Don't really want to leave that expansion undefended. But now once I have the 2 Colossus, I feel pretty confident that I can push out and kill him. 2 Colossus is a lot when his composition is so Hydra heavy. It was almost equal Hydra and Roach. The Colossus will just murder that along with the Stalkers. And we just mow through that. At that point, it's pretty much the game. He shouldn't have lost his army there before getting Corruptors. Does he even have Corruptors on the horizon? He has a Spire, but I don't see any Corruptors. There they finally are. He needed Corruptors way earlier than that. He waited until far too late in the game to get them. There, the Colossus melt the drones, and we'll finally finish his hatchery. Again, making this the 3rd time this hatchery has died this game. That's pretty cool. And of course, being a good little Zergy, he's going for a counter-attack here. He knows he can't take my army head-on, so he figures what's the best thing he can do is to kill my my expansion, so maybe he can force me into a base trade scenario where I might make a mistake. I'm not planning on making a mistake, so I'll just pull my probes back, warp in some reinforcements, and I'll retreat back to help myself as soon as I can while expanding again. If he kills this Nexus, I want to have another expansion ready to go. I do not want my probes sitting around idle or oversaturating a base, so we'll just expand again. And while he killed the Nexus, it did buy enough time for my army to return, so I'll be able to clean this up pretty easily. I will lose this Colossus up here, unfortunately. He picked the wrong time to spawn. I don't want to attack with the probes. I'd rather not lose them. He still gets a few of them, but nothing too much. But he has his little Gorilla Roach Force going in there being annoying. We'll just mow through him, and then we're sitting pretty right now. He's on 2 base, as far as I know. He might be a 3rd, which he is. I don't know about the space yet, though. But I will be sending a probe out to go scout it, and actually build a Nexus over there. I want to expand again, so I figure we'll build another Nexus over here. I don't know he has an expansion, but we'll find out. And there he's going to mine it. Meanwhile, my army is going to just push out and attack his main base, because I'm fairly certain at this point that I've won. And we just mow through. And there we go. Now I see his expansion, so I'm just going to move my army up to kill his expansion off. I check here again to see if I can kill this base for a 4th time. No such luck. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't take this as a base. I do like this base. It's a nice choice. I would have taken it, but it's a little far out for me. Right over here, that's a little bit awkward. Although, I guess it may be awkward for the Zerg, but no more than... Oh, maybe. No more than this. I don't know. But we'll just annihilate this base, and then I'll force him onto 2 base, and he knows at this point, as well as I do, that it's over. But that was a pretty cool game, I thought. A lot of back and forth action, a lot of tight spots for both players. It looked like the Zerg was going to win for a while in the early game, but I held on and made a very damaging counterattack, which brought me right back in. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to post. I may or may not answer them, but I will usually read them. Thanks.